Oh, hello there. Yes, well, good grief. Slightly further on in the week, aren't we? Yes, it's been a good week for God, hasn't it? Yes, Donald Trump, with his special speech to Congress, had to thank God for sparing him. One has to wonder exactly what, therefore, God has against firefighters that he didn't spare. Presumably it's him being, well, ineffable, because God is, isn't he? We can't possibly know what he's thinking, and I'm certainly sure that Donald Trump doesn't know what he's thinking, but there's an awful lot of very nasty piety in the name of God out there, and today I want to highlight once again the delightful, delectable and delicious Connor Tomlinson, who I think exemplifies all of the enormously appalling ways that nasty Christians can do nasty things because they're nasty. Was that using the word nasty enough? Probably not enough. It's nasty. There you go. Anyway, yesterday he posted this, okay, because there was that time of year, or that sliding time of year because of the Islamic calendar, when Keir Starmer attended a Muslim event in Parliament, which obviously is wrong, isn't it? Yeah, you mustn't have Muslim events in Parliament because we're a Christian nation, aren't we? No, but yes. So anyway, let's have a look at this and unpack exactly what's going on here. Britain is an occupied nation. Institutions right up to government, right up to government, not up to God presumably, but government, had been ideologically captured by Muslim activists. Interesting use of the word activist there. We are in a very, very bad state. Yes, because West Street tweeted out, little did we know when we held the first big iftar in Parliament nearly a decade ago, we'll be holding the big iftar in Westminster Hall with the Prime Minister historic first. Yes, indeed. But think about this, okay, on a number of different levels, because of course Connor hasn't, because he is, well, just a very nasty man, and he doesn't think about things. But think about Parliament, which is a representative place of the people, okay? We are a democracy, aren't we? Well, theoretically, at least in part we are. And there are quite a few people in this country that were born here, that are British citizens, who happen to be Muslim. Good grief. And apparently they get to vote. And apparently, therefore, they would perhaps, just on the basis maybe of that whole taxation and representation thing, actually require some form of representation of their own religion in Parliament. After all, why not? Might come onto that as a concept in a very short period of time. And therefore, we might think that it would be perfectly reasonable for a bunch of people who live here and, pay taxes here and indeed, have a vote here to see that represented in Parliament. But of course, Connor, being the I'm using nasty in place of a particular word which you can guess, being a nasty little boy that he is, can't accept that. But think about it logically. What is Connor asking for here? Is he asking for people in this country who don't believe in his God, and again we'll come back to that as a concept, that they shouldn't have any representation in Parliament at all? Is that what he wants? Or maybe it should be that they shouldn't have a vote. Yes, because they're activists, aren't they? Yes, imagine, going to a mosque on Friday and praying. Oh, activists, yeah. I wonder what Connor does on a Sunday. Is he a Christian activist, I wonder? Probably, eh? Those dangerous activists with their dangerous ideas. Yes, anyway, yes, we are in a very, very bad state because we've been occupied by a small number of people who perhaps are being recognised as a distinct group. That would be appalling, wouldn't it? Anyway, he therefore went on, and this is where it reaches the falling down laughing bit. With this ideological capture has been cheerled by Stonewall activist and fake Christian Wes Streetling. Yeah, Stonewall activist. You may recall that Wes, being in charge of the NHS, has had a particular kind of, hey, let's not bother with anything to do with trans things. So Stonewall activist is something, maybe not. It's a very picky one. Fake Christian. Oh, good grief. Bearing in mind, of course, that Connor has just recently left the Lotus Eaters, and he sits next to, well, various people who are decidedly Christians, aren't they? Yes. Good old Carl, definitely a Christian. Yeah, he's definitely a Christian. Often has meetings with loads of people who are definitely Christians, yeah. Like, think about the times when he's met up with Lawrence Fox, who's definitely a Christian. Not a fake Christian, not like Wes, fake Christian, yeah. You want to be a true Christian, come on to that concept again as well. Wes wrote the Islamophobia definition that calls discussing grooming gangs racist. Oh dear God, imagine that. Yeah, grooming gangs, they're all awful. They're all Muslim activists, aren't they? He's delivered our country in the hands of demented ideologues, cough cough, at every available opportunity to advance his own career, which I would certainly agree, because Wes Streeting is one of those very, very nasty Labour Party activists that has basically destroyed the Labour Party. But that's just a personal viewpoint. But it's worthwhile coming back to this notion, of course, of Christianity, because you see, the problem, one of the many problems, amongst the innumerable problems that I have with Connor Tomlinson, is the fact that he's actually a member of the Catholic Church, all right, okay? And as such, he believes that homosexuality is a sin. He also believes that basically abortion is a sin, and I have a sneaking suspicion that if he was asked, he would get rid of contraceptive services in this country as well. Still, never mind that. I mean, women pay taxes and they get to vote, but for God's sake, these women are activists. Imagine going around wanting services based on your own particular view of the world biologically. That would be awful, wouldn't it? Yeah, why the hell are we giving in to women in Parliament, eh? Yes, but of course, again, being a Catholic activist, like our Connor definitely is, because, he likes to go on marches with other anti-abortionists. What a lovely man he is, wanting to vote to restrict the rights of others. That's a good Christian thing. Yeah, what would Jesus do? Well, he'd restrict the rights of others. Do you remember the parable of the rights restrictor? Neither do I. Anyway, he's a Catholic, of course, but the problem, of course, with that Connor doesn't know, and again going back to our theme of the week about people not getting history at all, is that we have a long history in this country of, not allowing nasty Catholic agitators to get their own way, because it always spells trouble. If you think about those long periods of British history when we've had to put up with the Catholics, you might think of Elizabeth I and, the Empire of Spain, Catholic gits that they were. You might well think of the Fire of London, when everybody knew it was the Catholics what started that, yeah? Yeah, we have a long history of trying to get rid of the Catholic influence in this country, and as such, they are a minority view, and I think, personally, that Connor shouldn't have any representation in Parliament. In fact, I would consider him to be a nasty activist on behalf of a barbaric medieval regime. Why am I calling it barbaric and medieval? Well, Connor doesn't like racist grooming gangs, but it strikes me that the Catholic Church is one of the largest nasty grooming gangs that we've had. Throughout the entirety of the World Catholic Church, the Church has been known for sexually abusing children and then covering it up, utilising whatever power is at its disposal to do so. But I'm sure that Connor will conveniently forget that particular version of modern history. Like I say, just a very nasty man when it comes down to it. Still, what does he want, eh? Well, what he wants, of course, is for his God to be the one that you have to listen to. To which I'm sure you can come up with a suitable reply. Still, he makes a living out of it. Isn't that nice, eh? Imagine being a paid bigot. God, I wonder what it says on his passport. Yeah? Catholic activist bigot, an apologist for grooming. Probably doesn't say that. I'm just guessing. Anyway, do have a lovely Thursday. Oh dear God, what a slow week. Slow week it is. I am seriously gearing up into having too much work to do, and I'm going to blame God. Why not, eh? Because I don't believe in him. It's safe. There we go. Do have a lovely Thursday.